Hello people. So topic for today is number system. In your earlier classes, you would have learned about the number system and how to represent the various types of number system on a number line. So today we will see what are the different types of number system. Okay. So let me start. Types of number system. So when we say types of number system, we can classify number system as the very first thing, natural numbers, first one. And then what are natural numbers? We say all positive numbers comes under natural numbers except 0. So it starts with 1, 2, 3, 4 and it goes on till infinity. Then next comes is whole numbers. Even whole number is positive numbers, but 0 is included. So it starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and it goes on till infinity. So we say that these two numbers, natural numbers and whole numbers, all positive numbers. Able to understand? Good. And then next comes is the integers. So what are integers? So integers are the numbers which include positive as well as the negatives. So integers are the numbers which include both positive as well as the negatives. I hope it's clear till here. And then next comes the rational numbers. So what are rational numbers? So rational numbers are the numbers which include both positive as well as negatives, but there's a condition to a rational numbers. So the condition is that any number which can be represented in the form of P by Q, and the main condition is where Q is not equal to 0. So we can say that rational numbers are the numbers which can be written in the form of fractions where the denominator should not be 0. Yes, and next comes is the irrational numbers. Yes. So when we talk about irrational numbers, it's just opposite of rational numbers. And what's that? Any number which cannot be represented in the form of P by Q. Let's see a few examples for that then. For irrational numbers, let us consider the square root of 3. So can we represent this in the form of P by Q or else in the form of fractions? No, because these numbers is this number root 3 can be written as 1.732 and it goes on. Sorry people, it's not a comma, it goes on. We'll discuss about this later in the section. Yes, so we call such numbers as non-terminating. And very good example for irrational number is pi. The pi, you might have studied that we take pi as 22 by 7, but that is a simplified form. Pi is actually an irrational number which after the decimal point the number keeps on repeating. Sorry people, it does not repeat, the number keeps on going, it does not terminate. We also have a term called non-terminating and non-recurring. Recurring in the sense they do not repeat itself. So let us understand this number system in the form of some examples. Okay. Yeah. So let us consider this is your room. So let us consider your room to be a natural number. So natural numbers, I'll just write the representations. The natural numbers are represented by n. So I'll keep this as n. So this is your room. Yes. So where is your room? Inside your house. Can I consider room to be inside your house? Wait a minute. We need to erase this. The room has gone outside the house. The room is inside your house. So the next comes is the whole numbers. And next comes is the whole numbers, and the whole numbers is represented by the letter W. So I'll write that as W over here. You're clear with this, people? So this is your house, and maybe you have a neighbor who is in your floor itself. Let us consider their house, and these people are from some other place. So we'll consider that as negative numbers, and your whole floor is nothing but integers. And how do we represent integers? It is represented by integers is represented by the letter Z. Clear, people, till now? So n, which is a natural number, is your house, is your room, and W, which is a whole number, is your house. And let us consider u and your house to be the positive numbers. And there are some other people, your neighbor, they are negative numbers, just opposite to you. And these positive and negative together along with the 0, let us assume 0 to be the staircases or the lifts. Yes, so these two together is what we call them as integers. And here I have written down the symbols for each number system. Now these natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, and this, what did I tell you, that this is your floor. Let us consider this floor to be inside one building, and this building is nothing but building, and this building is nothing but rational numbers. We can call this as building or the tower. Let us consider this as to be tower 1. Clear, people, till now? Good. And there is another tower just besides your tower. Let us consider that. Let me erase this. Your room, we'll write it later. Represent this again. And there is another tower 2. This is tower 2. Yes, and this is nothing but irrational numbers. And your whole society is nothing but real numbers. So irrational numbers can be represented by the letter Q dash. And next comes is the real numbers. And real numbers are represented by the letter R. Oops, there is some mistake, and we will write it down again. And this being represented by the letter R. There are another system of number, and that we call that as imaginary numbers. We won't be seeing those numbers in your class 9. You will be reading about those numbers, imaginary numbers, under which you have complex numbers, and you'll be studying about those in your class 11. So I'll just repeat this once again. So your room, which is nothing but a natural number, and your house is, which has that room, is a whole number. And let us consider your house to be a positive numbers and your neighbor to be the negative numbers. So positive numbers, negative numbers, and the number 0 together, all together, are integers, and that is represented by the letter Z. And the integers, everything together, the integers, which is nothing but your floor. I'll represent this with some other color so that you understand. And now, so this is your room, and this is your house. Your neighbor's house is negative, so this whole thing, integers, is nothing but your floor. And the whole building, everything together, building, is nothing but the rational numbers. And rational numbers are represented by the letter, the Q. Yes. And irrational numbers. So this is just another tower. You'll be studying about irrational numbers in detail this year of your class 9. Yes. And irrational numbers, usually we denote it as Q dash, or even I. Sometimes we denote it as I. The symbol can be I or Q dash. Yes. So that is another tower. And then this rational numbers and irrational numbers together comes under the real numbers, and it is given by the letter R, and that is nothing but your society. And this tower is the next building, tower 2. I'll just write this with green color. Erase this and write this with green color. Tower 2 or building 2. Let me mention real rational numbers to be building 1 and this to be as building 2. So in the number system, when you see this diagram what I've drawn, is not, this shows that the natural numbers is the subset of the whole numbers, and whole numbers along with the negatives and the zeros is a subset of integers. Integers is a subset of rational numbers, and rational numbers and irrational numbers together is a subset of real numbers. Clear, people? I'll just once again write down the numbers so it becomes easier for you to understand. We change the color, take it to black. Natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes on till infinity. Whole numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes on till infinity. Integers, so it's from 0, 1, 2, 3 till infinity. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 till minus infinity. From minus infinity to plus infinity. Then comes as the rational numbers. So this rational numbers includes all positives and negatives, but in the form of P by Q. So an important condition where Q is not equal to 0. And then lastly about the irrational numbers. And these numbers, the same thing, all positives, just erase this and write it again. All positives and negatives which cannot be written in the form of P by Q. We call them as irrational numbers. And the last comes as the real numbers. All rationals and irrationals comes under real numbers. So far we have discussed about the number system. Point over here is 0 a rational number? Yeah, a good question. So is 0 a rational number? So can we write 0 in the, so we know that what are rational numbers. So rational numbers is something which can be written in the form of p by q. Rational numbers are the numbers which can be written in the form of p by q. So can I write 0 in the form of p by q? Let us try. You might have studied in your lower classes that if 0 is divided by any number, let us assume any number to be 100, it's again a 0. But any number when divided by 0 is not defined. So yes, 0 by any number gives you the answer 0. Thus, 0 is a rational number. And the next part of this question, can we write it in the form of p by q? Yes, we can write it in the form of p by q, where q is not equal to 0. Where q is not equal to 0.